You're here because you're interested in using questionnaires as the basis for your own in-house review or for an external review. You will also, I think, have learned a little bit about independent audit, leaders in board evaluation for 17 years. We've conducted about 300 external board reviews, and Thinking Board, our online questionnaire tool, has been used about 200 times. Mention questionnaires to directors and you do tend to get often a less than enthusiastic reaction. Speak to company secretaries, and what they're looking for is engagement, is interest, providing fresh angles, getting people thinking through the questions and providing rich commentary. And ultimately they're looking for something which gives valuable insight, useful insight, which boards use in their discussion of the results, which gets them to action planning much faster. When you use Thinking Board for your questionnaire-based review, we'll help you get the most out of it. For an externally facilitated review, we'll tailor your questionnaires with you, analyse the results, provide a report and discuss it with the board. When it comes to your in-house review, we can provide advice on the questions you're using, give you feedback on the results and give you steer on how to construct your board paper. Or you can simply do it yourself. Thinking Board is really easy to use. We'll provide training and an expert help desk. So we'll provide the level of support that's right for you. So let's take a look at how Thinking Board's questionnaire structure helps build that interest, engagement and gives you consistency. Here we're looking at the first section called the basic ingredients, and this is from our standard board questionnaire. You'll see straight away that our questions are structured differently. On the left-hand side, we ask questions that really matter for effectiveness, starting with how well do we? Moving across the page, we have our ratings. And on the right-hand side, and uniquely to Thinking Board, we provide a number of neutral or positive statements which elaborate the question and get people really thinking through what matters for effectiveness. These issues, as we call them, are arranged under the heading "We could do better at." Help different types of people, for example executives and non-executives, get on the same page when thinking through the question. This is really important because it addresses a typical problem for standard questionnaires, where respondents can interpret questions differently because they have different perspectives and different angles. Or maybe they don't understand what the question's actually driving at. And this can undermine the usefulness of the review itself. So, respondents read through these issues and flag the ones they feel are particularly pertinent. So overall, this structure makes questionnaires much more interesting. It encourages thinking, it provokes comments, and respondents are much more engaged. And we find that it adds those comments too, which were really valuable. So let's look at this question of culture. We ask, how well do we satisfy ourselves that the culture is what we want it to be? And looking across at the issues on the right-hand side, we could flag the issue around the clarity of the picture we're receiving. And maybe also the issue about being better at thinking through what would happen if behaviours are out of step with expectations. Therefore, the score that we now give is likely to be more considered and in a way more accurate in reflecting what we actually think. And we're much more likely to give a comment. Thinking Board gives you a number of charts and reports that you can use to form the basis of your own board paper. Let's take a look. So what we're seeing now is our starting point. This chart shows the different sections in our questionnaire and the questions in each section. It gives a very clear overview of the results. It shows you very clearly where things are working well and where focus is needed. So you get useful insight even at this summary level. We seem to have a few issues in the risk management section, so let's take a closer look. First of all, Thinking Board shows you the scores. In this section we had 12 respondents and 6 questions. And this gives a really good picture of how well the risks are being managed. It provides you with the comments as they were written, but note, it's all unattributable. And importantly, Thinking Board also shows you how many of those issues on the right-hand side have been flagged, and it ranks them in order. So very easily, even if you don't get lots of comments, which we hope you do of course, you get a much clearer picture of the concerns which underlie the scores. And in this example, you can see that 3/4 of our respondents felt that the board could be better understanding why any surprises were a surprise, and that 2/3 felt that they could do better asking the right questions on cyber. Drawing back to our overview picture, we can see in the risk management section that there seems to be a particular concern around cyber. So let's take a look at that question. By clicking on it, we can get a detailed view. We see how the scores break down between the 12 respondents, the top 3 flagged issues, and the comments where made. But let's take this further. Wouldn't it be really useful to understand to what degree the different types of respondent, the non-executives and executives, were aligned on the issues? So we can compare them, and what we're seeing on screen now is a chart which shows the non-executives on the left-hand side and those from the executive side on the right. This at-a-glance view is normally really revealing and supported by the comments and the flagged issues. Ultimately, you won't just understand where people are most and least aligned, but you'll understand why. So it's a thinking board question structure and the usefulness of that reporting that enables Thinking Board to put the value back into questionnaire-based reviews. With ever more scrutiny, change and regulation, boards need to know how well all the other things on which they rely are really working. So what else can Thinking Board be used for? Well, it can help you look at the effectiveness of internal audit, external audit, risk management, compliance, culture, subsidiary governance, and lots of other things too. So we hope to have shown you how Thinking Board puts the value back into questionnaires, whether you're using those in-house or for an external review, how it improves the experience for everybody and reduces the hassle. We'll be in touch soon to see if we can find a date in the diaries to talk through your requirements. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be immediately, just when you're ready. Thanks again.